Hello, welcome to Everything Stitching. In this video, I am going to show you guys how to do granny square blocking or any kind of blocking for crocheting. It is very, very useful. It makes it so that way you have more straighter edges, and then when you are crocheting your projects together, it looks really nice and streamlined. So for instance, I have blocked out this one. I have not sprayed it and let it dry out yet, but if you can see, it's a lot more straighter edges, right? This one is not blocked out yet. If you can see, it curls up easily. It's not even along all the edges and sides. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So what you're going to need is a foam blocking board, or if you don't have that, then you can also use like cardboard stacked up on top of each other. That will work. But really though, if you wanted to get one of these packs of foam boards, they're really reasonably priced. I know you can get them on Walmart or at Walmart. You can get them obviously any craft store, but Walmart and Amazon are going to be your cheapest bet. I think I picked this up from Walmart for like, I don't know, $7-8 or something. It was really reasonable and definitely well worth it if you make a lot of granny squares or projects that need blocking. Okay, so like I said, you're going to need either foam blocks or cardboard, and then the next thing you're going to need are pins. Now, I like using these pins that are specifically made for blocking for a few different reasons, okay? This set comes with bigger ones and smaller ones, so depending on how many granny squares you're going to be blocking at once, or how thick your project is, it's nice to have a little bit of variety. They are better to use than regular sewing needles, because regular sewing needles are a lot more what's the word, like bendable. So when you go to put your pin and start blocking, if you push too hard or something, the regular sewing needles can bend very easily. Also, because they don't have this flat, oh sorry, cashew, this flat part on the top, like the head of it is not flat, it's usually rounded or something. It's just not as easy for blocking, right? So with this flat edge like this, you're literally getting your finger and just pushing it down and just going through. And you're not worrying about them bending. They're pretty sharp too. They're specifically made for it, so it works better, right? But if you are on a budget, then you can use sewing needles, they just don't work as well. Also, if you're going to invest in the blocking needles, once again, this is actually another thing where it's very reasonably priced. I believe I got these for like $5 or under $5. So I got like this whole set here with the foam blocks and these for less than $20. So it's not like it's a huge investment, but I am aware that sometimes even that's a bit much. So until then, you are more than welcome, and it absolutely works to use cardboard and regular sewing needles. Okay, so let me show you how to do this. So what you're going to want to do is get your granny square, and you're going to find your corner, okay? And you're going to get your blocking needles and you're going to put it through your corner, okay? And then you're going to get your other corner, or find your other corner. And what I like to do is start in a corner where there are lines, right? So I can start working off straight edges, okay? And then I work down that line, getting my granny square nice and straight. Now, you want to slightly pull your granny square, but you don't want to pull it too much where you're like really doubling your size, right? So for this, I'm working along this top line right here. And I'm just pinning it, following my blocking line. This is another reason why these foam blocking pads, oh cashew, I'm sorry about that. These foam blocking pads are really nice because they do have the grids, and it's a lot easier to see if you're straight or not. So if you're using cardboard, you're gonna have to draw your own lines, which is doable, but just a little extra work. Also on Amazon or any of your crafting stores, you can also buy the wood ones where they're kind of like pegs. So instead of going into foam, they're like pre-drilled holes. I have not used those, mainly because they are more expensive, but I hear that they are amazing and they work great. But if I can cut costs, then I will. Okay, so like I said, I like this setup, and I was able to do this setup for under $20. Okay, so what you're gonna do is once you get all of your corners and sides blocked out, you're going to look and see, okay, is it pulling anywhere? Is it not straight anywhere? And if that's the case, you're gonna move it, get your pin and pin it, right? So you wanna get it as square as possible, which is the point of blocking out granny squares, okay? Then here is the next step that's really, really cool, and this is what actually keeps it square after you unpin it. Okay, apparently Cashew's just gonna sit right here and really rub on that. So here's what we do. The trick is we get a spray water bottle, okay, with just water in it, nothing else. And we're going to mist our granny squares. This is where Cashew might jump off. Yep, he did, sure enough. So you missed your granny square. This is also where these foam blocks or the other pegboards work better versus using cardboard, because once you get the cardboard wet, it can start to peel or be tricky, right? So keep that in mind. But basically what you're doing is you are misting your granny squares. You are not drenching your granny square, but you're also not like really, really carefully wetting it. You're doing a substantial amount of mist, okay? So if you were to touch it, yeah, it's definitely wet, but it's not soaking. So that's how, that one is perfect. Actually, so is this one. So they both are perfect. So I have substantially misted both of them. And now what you're gonna do is block out all of them, okay? If you have a ton of them to block out, like for instance, I have, here, let me move my camera this way a bit. I have, let's say, 2 right here. I could even stack up a few of them, get my pins that are the bigger ones, okay? And I can actually go through all 3 at once, okay? Now, here's the thing. The problem with that is you're not able to mist very well all through your stitches or all through your layers. So what you might do is, if you wanted to save on space and time, you would mist your first layer, your second layer, third layer. So however many layers you have, you would mist your layers first and then block it out and then leave it, okay? But if you're doing it like I did with these, where you're just doing it a single layer, then I personally like to pin it first and then block it out. That way I'm not like getting my hands all wet and cold. But either way works. So the point of my story is you block them out, whether you're stacking them or doing them by themselves. Mist them a substantial amount, so they're not sopping wet, but they are pretty wet. And then you're going to leave them overnight. And then in the morning, you're gonna pull away your pins and you're gonna notice how much more square they are versus folding up and rounded edges. So I will meet you guys back here tomorrow morning, and I'm gonna show you guys when they're dry how straight the edges are compared to a granny square that has not been blocked. So I will meet you guys back here tomorrow morning. Okay, you guys, it is the next morning. I had these dry up overnight. So now what we're gonna do is take all the pins out. Another thing about these blocking pins is they're really easy to grab because of the flat part. Let me get my container. I mean, technically it doesn't have to dry overnight, but just like a few hours, but I just find it easiest to block out my projects at night, spray them real quick, and then when I wake up in the morning, they're good to go. Okay, so do you see what I mean? Look at this. They hold their shape now. Now these two are not, or have not been blocked out. Okay, so if you can see what I mean, they have more rounded edges and they are not as square, right? So then when you are sewing your projects together, it doesn't have this really nice streamlined professional look. It's very wonky, right? So like I said, it makes a huge difference no matter what size you make your granny squares. If they're giant ones or small ones, it's worth it. It's totally worth it to block out. And that's how you guys do it. That's the easiest way to do it, and I would say the most cost-effective way to do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please feel free to comment below if you have any other ideas of different kind of videos of something that you don't know how to do, whether it's crocheting or sewing, and you want to know how to do it. Let me know and I can make a video for you guys and show you guys how to do it. I had a lot of fun doing this because it's like so rewarding in the end to be like, wow, this is way better than all like jacked up. Anyways, okay, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.